Good evening everyone, Seth here and welcome to another episode of Playing Path of Champions Day. Today is Friday as far as I'm aware, and today we're doing a Viego run against Aurelion Sol. So I did the early run, I've managed to get a level 2 run, so that will be uploaded most likely tomorrow with the Nora video as well. And that's like the quick introduction, I guess, for like what's happening. And let's talk about this run. So this is basically the first run that I did of Viego against Aurelion on like higher level. And my initial thoughts on Viego are that Viego is very powerful. 3 stars is very strong, so you don't really need much more. Although I did pick up regen, I did pick up like giving every like Shadow Isles follower the pickaxe star, and I think like one more, but they aren't as impactful as it may seem. So Viego is very powerful in the sense that you generate a lot of encroaching mists. These mists buff up Viego, and once they get like 3 or 4 mists on the board, you can start getting discounts on your big stuff, and then pair it up with a very powerful like you have a lot of removal, you have a lot of self-slay, you have a bunch of slaying enemy units as well, which plays very well with Viego. And like things to cut from Viego deck, from my experience, mostly has been the fading icon, because it basically just clogs the board. It doesn't do anything that the deck really wants to do, and the item that the fading icon gets is pretty weak, so I personally just cut it almost every time. And the other card is Possession, because in most games having like a 5 mana or a 3 mana steal enemy follower is next to useless. From cards that I've been picking during my time playing, I've mostly been focused on trying to get Shadow Isles followers. My favorites so far have been Mask Mother and the Shark Chariot. These are like the 2 best ones from my experience so far. Another thing to look out for is that sometimes in the shop you might see encroaching mists, so make sure to pick them up always, regardless of what else is in the shop, because not only will they get the pickaxe upgrade, they will also get like an extra item, and these often tend to be very good. So those are basically my initial thoughts on Viego. I've completed most adventures. I haven't done Kai'Sa or Lysandra yet. That will come up later. And Viego builds. So people have been running different things for Viego. I've personally have been rocking Double Gatebreaker, and Double Gatebreaker allows you to get a lot of high damage to the Nexus really fast, but this is mostly just for the weaker adventures, because it often guarantees a kill. And for the Aurelion Sol, I wouldn't bring this to Lysandra particularly, mostly because I feel like against Lysandra you would rather have Double Strike Relic and then something else, and then fish for a Spell Shield, which it does make your slays a bit weaker, but it's not bad. It also avoids the issue of Lysandra just obliterating your followers and stuff like that, which, while doesn't really like matter for the mists, it does disable a huge part of your 2-star power. So personally I believe this is like what's expected. Lonely Giant Slime is also pretty good. You can get a lot of chimes into your deck, and you will draw them quite often. So personally, a pretty huge fan of that card as well. About the builds. So I've been running Double Gatebreaker, but I've also heard people run Corrupted Star Fragments just to like kill off their big mists, just to like trigger Viego again. But again, I'm more of a direct approach fan. The downside of Double Gatebreaker is that you need to have an item that increases your power by at least 1, because right now the 2-star power is bugged, and while it still triggers on 4 plus power units on the board, it doesn't trigger on, it doesn't reduce the cost of 4 power allies in hand, which is pretty huge, and it does come into play like during the early stages of this run. Namely because, again, if you can't get a discount early on Viego, then it becomes a little bit of an issue, so, you know. Other than that, but that can be solved by just getting a single buff through Encroaching Mists or like a hand buff, so it's not lost. Not much is lost. So another thing is that you may have noticed that I've marked this as a level 25 run, and I'm running only 2 items, and that's because I literally just forgot to put up more items in there. So this is like a bit of my mistake here, you know. It doesn't come into play that much. It mostly matters for this early run, but after a while I just get like an extra power to Viego, and then it becomes way easier to deal with it. Some important things as well about Viego's gameplay is that Viego has some pretty good synergies with some champions, and so far my favorite ones have been Hecarim as a support champion, and I think Zed. These two are like so far the most the ones that have performed the best for me. Mostly because one, Zed generates a unit with Ephemeral, which normally is a free 2, but you know, if you have like a single item on it that gives you like +2 power or +1 power, you can start bankrolling the cost reductions even further. And it goes well into Viego's curve, because you know you can go turn 1 nothing, turn 2 Z and attack with the Z, and then gives you at least 1 discount, and if you kill something by the way of like attacking, then you get an extra discount, you get like extra buff to your Viego. So that's that. Another and Hecarim is mostly because Hecarim often has some good Shadow Isles units that you want, and they all get like Hell is one of the buckets from Shadow Isles that actually has units in it. So you get the Shark Chariot with a pickaxe, which then just allows you to get more and more value as you create more and more Encroaching Mists, and then when you attack you summon the empowered Shark Chariot, which then decreases your costs even more. And the other one is what was the other one? I think it was like Garden or something, I don't remember the exact name, but it's the one that you can kill an ally to get 2 saplings. And this one is also great because 1, it becomes 4 power, and 2, it gives you a self-slay to then fuel further into your Encroaching Mists, which very good. And if the enemy is low enough or like has low enough health, you get a lot of value from simply just like killing something with your saplings as well. And that's kind of how it works, because Viego does enjoy self-slays and then having maybe like challenger on your units just to pick off some of the stronger enemies or weaker enemies, that depends. As for powers so far have been pretty inconclusive. I don't have 4 stars yet, so picking up Crash is pretty self-explanatory and is pretty good, so it doesn't really matter as well. From other powers, the Haunting Hall, which gives you Hallowed on every unit, is a great boost to Viego. Mostly because, again, your stuff will die, you will generate encroaching mists, which then die and attack, and that just gives you more and more fuel to put up like a big unit in the front. And if you have Crash, obviously a big overwhelmer. From common powers, another thing that another like power that is okay, like not fantastic but okay, is Afterlife Forbidden. So the one that generates the tomb, Cursed Tomb, I don't remember what the name of it, that revives your strongest unit after 2 turns, which is very nice. It helps you like stabilize as well, or summon another encroaching mist, just get more and more value. From rare powers, my favorites are so far are Strike on 5+ power, which is pretty self-explanatory. It gives you an extra slay. It does remove some of your like board presence by if you summon like a 5+. Oh, actually, for common powers there are 2 more. One of them is the +1/+1 when I'm summoned, and the other one is your allies have +1/+0. This is mostly just so you can fuel up your 2-star power and cost reductions way earlier. Afterwards, we have the rare powers finally. And from rare powers, the biggest MVP has been Phantom Pranks so far. Mostly because, hey, it's Phantom Pranks. You generate a lot of units that will die, so just like accidental damage is always good. Then we have the Strike, so 5+ power when you summon Strike. This does remove your board presence a bit, but it gives you a lot of removal, and it basically means that once you, for example, self-slay a unit, you summon an encroaching mist, this encroaching mist gets buffed, and then from this buff you get another encroaching mist that then strikes again, which is very good. It does help you open up the pathway to other things. And if you have Viego on board that hasn't leveled yet, which didn't really happen to me that much, it can just help you level up Viego, summon extra encroaching mist from Viego's effect, so that is genuinely some of the better stuff. From other rare powers, the standard welcome gifts is really nice, because getting encroaching mist with possibly lifesteal or like extra effects is always good. However, Viego mostly seems to thrive on like common and epic powers, so rare powers are less like powerful, I guess. One that's kinda useful, but not in like a massive sense, is what was the name of the power? Fast deal. Just drawing faster, drawing more stuff, even if it gets discarded, you still have enough to pull out some pretty good stuff, especially if you don't draw the things you need. But again, Viego is mostly common focused and epic focused, and having having a lot of great common powers that synergize well versus like only like a 2 or 3 rare powers is a bit of a interesting choice, but it does make sense from like the way that Viego wants to play. The next one are epic powers, and epic powers have a large suite of effects that are very helpful to Viego and that are like very useful. So obviously the one that I picked up during this run is Nature's Revenge. This, you know, having a sapling is always great, and it synergizes really well with Self-Slay because, you know, it gives you an extra unit. Oh yeah, and picking up unit powers is also pretty desirable in Viego. Doesn't have to be doesn't have to be specifically this power. But you know, general power that summon things so you can self-slay them is also pretty good. So huge, they're like a huge yes from me. This includes both common and rare versions, except Whoosh. Whoosh is kinda bad, so don't bother. Besides that, yeah, Nature's Revenge is really good. Greater Plaza is very strong. It allows you to do a lot of fun stuff. It makes your units that might have not triggered the 2-star power trigger it now, and it does it like very well. So this is like the gist of it. Other epic powers are like, you know, gain a free mana gem, that's obviously always good. There are some that... Actually, let me just open this real quick, because most of them aren't that powerful on their own. But they are like... There are some that are situationally always good, so... Let's take a look. Can I get to some that are... Okay, Explosive Entrance is just always good. Evolution doesn't really help that much, unless you already have something. The Poros power that gives you a random power at the start is pretty bad, not gonna lie. I feel like it could have been a bit better. What else? I'm looking through the list, but there is the one that triggers from spells, but it's kinda bad, so I don't really recommend it, to be honest. The Viego doesn't really run that many spells, so you know. What about some other powers? Oh, Out of the Gates is okay. If you cut your only 2 costs though, you have to find something better, so Slime Chime is great for this, or any other 2-drop. Or a 1-drop that gets buffed up. Sharing is Caring is not that great, you don't really have that many keywords in this deck. Besides Fearsome and Overwhelm, but that's beside the point. Share the Bounty doesn't help at all, so it's kinda wasted. Stacked against them is just an extra discount, so it's always good. The biggest, obviously, upgrade is Grander Plaza, so that's that. Yib's Genius is also pretty good, especially since Encroaching Mists are 1 costs, so that's also something worth keeping in mind, and it does help quite a bit to like getting the 4 power threshold for your power, which rather 4 attack to your threshold, which is really nice. And then we have legendary powers. I've played a bunch, so so far from these that are available, Duplicate is the best. Perfected Mana Flow is fantastic. Undying Legion is pretty good actually. And then the rest are pretty situational. Power Overwhelming I think triggers before your units die, so it might be a little bit Good, unlimited power is bad, unyielding determination is also bad, endless wealth is situational, level up is also pretty bad to be honest, so for Viego, so no great surprises there. Not only that, what else? Let's talk about remitter powers, since that might be useful for all of you who are attempting the Lysandra challenge, because you know we have like 5 or 6 weeks to do this, so make sure to stack up on that. And remitter powers, let me just open it up real quick. Oh, it will not show me here, give me a second, but there are a few that are actually pretty useful and there are a few that are kinda mid. So obviously the biggest one is Vestiges of Helia. This is just fantastic because again, you want your units to die, you don't really care about killing other enemy units because your deck doesn't really have it. You always cut the take control, so it doesn't really matter anyways, so you know, that's a-okay. Oh right, Beagle Dust Stash is also pretty useful. I forgot about that when I was talking about the epic powers. Black market discount is whatever. Ascension Stall, I would say you should probably avoid. It won't help that much. Animated armor, I'm gonna say no. Most often than not, it will not be helpful. Then we have Can't Stop Won't Stop also doesn't help at all, so no need to bother. Coastal Chaos is okay because it gives you like extra units to slay and kill, but it's like I don't know, I wouldn't say it's that fantastic, so this is mostly just one to pick up if you don't have anything better, but I wouldn't call it that powerful anyways. We also have Dying Laughing is... You could think it's pretty okay, and I would say it's fine because it basically serves the same way as Phantom Pranks. But if you're against Lysandra, that might be a little bit of a bit weaker, but you know, it's not the worst power. Empire above all is useless, so don't bother. Frenzied Fighting could work, and I think it actually might, because you know, you don't really care if you damage your own allies, you still generate like big enough units to procure power, so that's fine by you. Then we have House Rules, so this is from the special node, you probably won't see it, so I don't recommend that. Inquisition, no, Inquisition is bad, don't use Inquisition here, it's not worth it. Lil Buddies again, Lil Buddies are bad, as I said before. Mercy Killing is okay. It doesn't trigger from slays, so it's kinda eh. Mortal, it doesn't trigger slay because it's a power, so it doesn't really count it, as far as I'm aware. But Mercy Killings again is not that great, I would say. You want like big units and they will die regardless, so I don't think it's great. Mortal Marks is interesting, but I think your stats outweigh Lysandra's stats, so you should probably avoid it. Natural Magic, I'm gonna say, is pretty okay. Could be better. There are better powers than it, namely Vestiges, because you know Vestiges are the best power probably. But Natural Magic is not bad if you want to get your Slay train going, but again, you can't do too much stuff even with Natural Magic as Viego, so I would err on this side of caution. Narwhal Blessings, all players summon 3 golden narwhals. I'm gonna say nope. You don't really need this, you don't really care about this, so I'm gonna say avoid. Another one, Petricide's Presence, I don't know if it was fixed or not, but I don't recommend it anyways, so avoid at all costs. Then we have. Is there anything else? I'm looking at what's up here, but I don't think there is much. Steady supply. Oh, actually, steady supply is okay. It's more of a PT power if you want it, if you need it. I wouldn't like suggest picking it over vestiges or other powers that I've mentioned that are good. But you know, it's a great thing to have to just, you know, ping down the enemy nexus. If you can slay Lysandra, then that's great. And steady supply just helps you like deal a bunch of damage to the enemy nexus, and if you're playing like the version which plays strikes on play, so Gatebreaker, then it might actually be worth it. Especially since, you know, if you have steady supply and, for example, what was the name of the power? Phantom Pranks. Then it becomes 2 damage to the enemy, 1 damage to you, then it's okay. There was also one that makes everything fearsome and have 1 less power. Avoid it at all costs, you want 4 power minimum, and that doesn't help you achieve it. There was also... yeah, Vestiges of Hellia, probably the best. One I would actually consider is Waves of Worry. So all units have vulnerable. This allows you to pick your fights, while it also allows enemies to pick up fights. If you set up your turn correctly, you can just ignore your enemies, get big, or rather large enough encroaching mist to just ignore it. And that's basically how it works. So that's basically so those are the basics that I've observed so far while playing, and they are okay. I wouldn't say it was. I'm gonna say that Viego is pretty powerful. I would rate it at like A. I wouldn't say he's an S tier champion, but I would say he's an A tier minimum. Also, let's talk about this run. So we are almost at the end. There are like, if I'm not mistaken, 3 encounters more. Yeah, it's this encounter, then 2 more encounters, and these encounters are we'll see in the future because I don't remember now. But again, as you can see, Viego is very, very powerful. One note I will make about this run is that, again, I think I said it earlier, I have level 25, I forgot to equip the 3rd item, which would let me get a little bit more value out of the early like deaths of my units that have 4+ power, but that's beside the point. Yeah, I pick up Eager Apprentice here because I'm thinking, okay, having a 2-drop in your hand always is a good idea, so yeah. And Encroaching Mists appear. This is like an instant purchase. It's really, really good to just have. I think I purchased more than one here just because, you know, it's a one drop that can reduce the costs of everything in my hand, so it might be worth to pick up, so I grab it and I leave. Okay, so we have Lulu and then we have Yasuo. One thing during this run that I did is that I died to Zed, and it was partially on purpose and partially not on purpose. I didn't heal on purpose because I was like, okay, this is a fight where I can heal, so even if I lose, I will still heal to full, so win-win. I don't really need a revive against Aurelion because with how the run has been going, I think Viego is like powerful enough to just generate so much value that's not even needed, really. What else? Maybe, you know, I think that's basically everything that I wanted to talk about regarding Viego, so enjoy the rest of this run. And while you're doing this, let's talk about something else, because there is more to do here. So, constellations. Constellations, they finally also updated, or rather fixed, the progress reset, because it was reset but you didn't really know what was reset, and yeah. So first of all, constellations, we have 6 stars, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 15 stars per champion now. The first 3 can be unlocked with champion fragments. Stars 4, 5 and 6 can be unlocked with champion fragments and something else. Mostly star fragments and nova crystals. And then we have like the smaller stars, where each costs like 40 champion fragments. And then we have celestial stars, I guess, which all have gemstone costs. So let's talk about the current progression. So, I mean, I've talked about it plenty before. I'm currently in the middle of a process of making a new tab for the current constellation progress. And I'm kinda curious on how I should be approaching the way that I'm currently doing thumbnails. Because again, I think that I am going to stick to extra stars on the screen. Probably like do 3 stars below the champion level, and then like 3 out of 6, I don't know. I'm still like in the middle of deciding on what I wanna do here. So far the luck hasn't been on my side. The best I've gotten is a 4-star Volibear with like an additional upgrade. And then Viego with like a bunch of smaller extra stars. So Stars of Bounty, which is Region, Stars of Discovery, which is like, I think, the followers, and then Stars of Blessings, which is on Champion? Yeah, on Champions is something else. This was, I didn't remember what it was. I think it was just an upgrade to Shape of Fear. So I'm missing 234 stars, which includes both 4 to 6 stars, and then those like bonus stars. I will be working on like again, I'm still working on the I said it before and now I'm missing the word. I am so good at this, right? So I'm still missing like an extra. I'm working on an extra tab for the spreadsheet, which I've already input my star information, but I'm still working on like formulas to calculate how many champion fragments I will need, how many star fragments I will need, and nova crystals and gemstones. I don't know if I'm going to track how many resources I already have here, or if I'll just track the unlock rate. We'll see about that. And another thing that I want to talk about is that with like the today's patch, because there was a fix today, I think today or like yesterday, very late, I don't remember, they finally added added new rewards to the old adventures. So I haven't really gone through them yet, mostly because I've been working on Viego so far, so that's cool. And that's basically it, so now let's enjoy this final fight. I will be narrating a few, like I'll be narrating some of it, so enjoy. So the major thing here is that, as you can see, slaying units is very powerful, giving me the extra encroaching mist. And Legion of the Deathless is very nice. Getting double attack wasn't really like necessary, but it was good enough. Here I opt for getting two mists and like 2 champions because I feel like it's better. And during this run I pick up some very useful powers, namely the one that when you summon something with 8 or more power, then it gets +8/+8, which then helps me like have a pretty good blockers and pretty good like power on board, so that's mostly that. ASOL RNG so far has been going pretty smoothly. They haven't really rolled anything that like scares me. They didn't roll Viego, luckily, which would probably spell disaster for me, but they get Aatrox. Aatrox is like fine enough, so I don't particularly mind. I'm thinking maybe I wanna use Death Grasp here, but I think I decide against it because like I don't really need to use it. I'm like checking what I can get, but it's not worth it for now. I take a little bit of damage, that's fine. And I decide, okay, I'm not going to wait with Viego. Let's put up Viego like first. Get basically two copies thanks to the Deathless. And obviously this levels both Viegos, which is very nice. Summons more copies, summons more encroaching mists. So next round is basically the end of the run, because again I have big enough units on board that get buffed, and since 2 of my Viegos will survive without issues, then putting a little bit of extra pressure on the Nexus, that's okay. So they get Malphite. Malphite isn't really like that powerful, so I don't mind. Round start, get a sapling, both Viegos trigger, kill two champions, very smooth. And you know, this is basically the end of the run because they can block. Even if they silence 2 of my units, then the rest deals enough damage to kill them, so they do heal, and I'm like, okay, maybe they can do it through a heal, but even then I don't think they have enough stats, and they don't even have silence this time around, so yeah. Pretty light on this run was pretty light on my commentary. I don't know if you prefer it like this or not, but you know. Didn't really have anything interesting to say. I've been grinding away this entire day and yesterday as well, so that's why this video is late/early. I don't know when this will get uploaded, but it's pretty early, so in the day today, so this should be good enough, I hope. And with that, we've reached the end of the run. So Viego, pretty good. Lysandra run coming soon, so yeah. And with that, I'm opening this vessel, that doesn't matter. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you around soon. Take care.